Hey, how are you doing? It's Monday. We're doing another 2 Mondays in a row. We're doing a Monday night show because felt like we had to with this ticket, MLS Cup ticket scandal, ticket extravaganza, ticket whatever going on. Felt like needed to get on and kind of talk through like what my experience was like and also find out if anybody's in the chat what your experience was like. So if you're in the chat, say hello and we'll last minute kind of show. Wasn't really planning on doing it until again that the nerves and everything of going through and everything reading about everything that's happening with this ticket sales for the MLS Cup. So we'll go into a little bit of like my experience, and then if anybody else is gone through it, like to hear your experience as well. But of course, we don't go too far without saying thank you to our sponsor, and that is Caneswear. Caneswear is located in Davie, Florida, just south of 595 on University Drive. They have the messiest wall in all of South Florida. So support a local business and buy your Inter Miami merch at Caneswear. God, mouthful. Having a hard time there. So let's do that. Also, if you want to help the channel a little bit more than just being a subscriber, click the join button for a few bucks a month. It could be like a Christmas present. It can help us grow the channel and do all kinds of fun stuff. So, all right, let's get right into it. I see a few people in the chat. So let's get down to it. I'm curious about, let's just say hello to you guys. First off, I see Sport Shorts is here. Eric Thomas from New Jersey is here. Young Tokrico. Too expensive to have a ticket. Crazy. Okay, well, let's get into that. One World is here. Oh, yeah, Mr. Krabs. We'll come back to some of your comments. Kata is here. And that's what I see so far. So, tickets, for those that are out of the area or just are not aware, tickets went on sale for season ticket holders, but not just any season ticket holder. It had to be somebody that had already opted in for the playoffs. So if you had been to all the playoff games, basically you opted in for the playoff games, then you had the opportunity with the pre-sale today at 10 a.m. for the premium seats, those expensive seats on the West and things like that. Then 1 p.m. for the rest of us, peons. And then there was a 4 p.m. release as well. So I was watching it all day. And if I wasn't watching it like the 10 a.m., I had people watching it for me and sending me screenshots and giving me information. So I was aware of kind of what was happening at 10 a.m. and then 1 p.m. And then actually I'm on the site right now. We're going to spend some time just kind of going through what the situation is right now too, here at 9 p.m. on the night that they went on sale. So if you, bought tickets, let me know your experience. But real quick, my experience. So it was nerve-wracking. It felt like, and I mentioned this a little bit before, it felt like when I bought my daughter Taylor Swift tickets a couple years ago, where, you had a code to get in. It was for pre-sale. It was difficult. You're fighting the bots and all kinds. And Taylor's a much bigger thing than this game. It was difficult. I got them for her. They were expensive, but they were not as expensive as they were, like $275, which is a lot. But to see what the prices went for later, it was cheap. But your heart is beating like a mile a minute because you don't want to screw it up, because time is of the essence when they have these kind of sales. And Ticketmaster sucks for this kind of stuff, by the way. I'm in there. Again, just like I was for the Taylor Swift, the heart's beating. I'm in the queue, and then right away, it says that I'm like 700 people in front of me. 700 people in front of me was pretty good, because I saw screenshots of friends and other people trying to get in that said things like 44,000 people in front of them, and that's ridiculous. 43,000. There aren't 43,000 season ticket members. We all know that, right? So that's where this becomes a big issue. Obviously, with bots and people sharing codes and all, whatever the situation might be. But again, all right, I want to, that was kind of my experience. I was able to procure tickets at a reasonable price. I already expected that my ticket, I sit in section 115. Now, I was not guaranteed to get my ticket, but I was, for the last playoff game, if I remember correctly, my ticket was like $100. So it tripled. I hate that. It's a lot of money, but it's kind of understandable. Like, this is our Super Bowl. So it was kind of understandable. But then it did start getting out of control. So that was my experience. I was able to do it pretty quickly, pretty easily for somewhat reasonable price. Expensive, but all things considered, again, like it being kind of our Super Bowl, it was to be expected, right? So let's see some of your comments here. So back to young Tocrico said it was just too expensive to have a ticket. Yeah, I mean, let's get into that a little bit. Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs saying maybe this should be more of a reason for MLS Cup final to be held at a neutral site in the future. Now, they've done that in the past. I don't like it. I prefer, it to be in a site that one of the teams, the team that had the better record, has an advantage, I think it's going to be amazing atmosphere. So I don't agree that, it should have been on a neutral site. And I also don't agree that some people said it should be at Hard Rock. We talked about that yesterday on the Sunday night show of why that can't happen with relevant sports, having an issue with MLS and all that kind of stuff. So they don't play well. I saw somebody talking about how Moss doesn't like Stephen Ross. It's not that. It's relevant sports and MLS. So that's really the issue. And Stephen Ross owns Relevant Sports, who programs international soccer games in that stadium. So, but regardless of that, even if it could happen, I wouldn't want it there, even though, tickets might have been a little bit cheaper because there's more of them. But I want that cozy atmosphere that's going to be rocking at the Hard Rock. So I don't necessarily like the neutral site idea. Kata mentioned earlier that checking on, I received my tickets I bought on Saturday afternoon, hassle-free. So, Kata, give me more information. How, if you don't mind, how expensive were they? Because what those ticket prices clearly were. Now, I mean, it's obvious. What those ticket prices were based on prospects. They were saying that we think we're going to get tickets in this section. They weren't promising necessarily seats and things like that yesterday. At least that's what it looked like. Because obviously you couldn't have tickets for sale that weren't available. Because I saw on Game Time tickets at a ridiculous price. And now if you go on Game Time, and we will, now if you go on Game Time, they've come down quite a bit. So I am curious what you paid by acting early on these kind of prospects. So that'll be interesting. One World, One Goal saying battered herons are on at the same time. They were quite cranky about it. Danny did research on what the past teams have done. I'm going to actually be on the battered herons later. So we're going to end this show maybe 10 minutes earlier than I normally would, because I'm going to also be on the battered herons right after this. So right after we end here, go join me on the battered herons, because they'll still be going, and I'm going to go join those guys. Miami Mac, I think you and I were tweeting, I'm not sure, but expensive day. Here, young Tocrico is talking about it should be the Hard Rock. I don't agree. Kata is saying, I hope you and Ed are sitting together. So that's the other thing, right? So the way they did it, you weren't guaranteed. The way it should have been done is that you should have, being opting in and keeping your tickets, first right of refusal on your actual seats. That way, the people you sit next to, you could sit next to. That wasn't the case. It was a free for all once the windows open. And each person was able to buy 6 tickets. So I bought 4 tickets because I had 3 friends that are going to sit with me, and they all just gave me their money. So instead of Ed logging in and trying to buy a ticket that was close to me, I just bought the ticket for him, and then he just paid me. So that was the way you had to do it. If you want to sit with friends, you really, because otherwise tickets are appearing and disappearing on Ticketmaster as we speak. They're appearing and disappearing. Their algorithm, however it works, it's weird, but it was happening. From there to there, stressful. Seats were disappearing left and right. Panic buy. Okay, so that's the other thing that this did, is by creating these windows. Let's say you were in there at 10 a.m. and you see dots disappearing. They're dots. They're disappearing. And you start now panicking. And so now what you end up doing is maybe buying a seat that was way more expensive than what you were planning on buying, because you're freaking out. You don't want to miss out. You don't want to lose your opportunity to get the seat. So potentially you spend way more money than you really planned on spending because of this panic that is created through Ticketmaster. Pipa Cochino? Sad and angry. Season ticket member since day one. Expensive tickets and hard to get. Did you get them, though? Yeah. What should have been... So, obviously, they prioritized the premium as those that spent the most money. And I understand that from a business perspective. But part of your business also is keeping your most loyal people happy, your most loyal customers happy. And so someone like you and me that were day one, I think the order should be prioritized not by how much you spend, but by how long you've been a ticket member, right? So you take all of the, all the day ones, for example, are in group 1. Maybe you're maybe there's some, day 2s or something that are in group 1 too, because you got to fill out a certain number in the group, right? But it would have been much better if you're rewarding based off of loyalty. Like, there are some people that were a season ticket member in year 1 and we sucked, and then they didn't renew, and then they came back once Messi came on board, right? That happened. Or a lot of people that were just jumping on the bandwagon once Messi got here. It's not a problem. Welcome. But those of us that were here day 1 should have been prioritized, and that would have been nice to see. Clearly, that was not the case. I'm going to scroll a little bit. Your Fool 7886 says the final should be played in the biggest stadium in the USA. I think, bro. Well, bro, I don't know. I disagree. I like you rewarding the now from a pure business standpoint, they'd sell more tickets. It makes sense. Put it in the bigger stadium. But if you want to win, you want to reward. Look, and this isn't something that Inter Miami decided. This is the league, and a lot of it, if you think about it, is kind of, it's almost like it's a reward to that stadium, to that facility. They're getting the money that is generating, the game is generating. So, I'm not a fan of the neutral site. They did it before. They've done it before. All right, let me just scanning, seeing if there's, because if you're talking about Miami Max saying day 1 season ticket member, MLS Cup final, last hurrah for Busi Alba, last dance at Drive Pink, Chase 3 rows away from our regular season, but hopefully be worth it. I actually went 14 rows better than my seats. I went down 14 rows. So, hey, look who's here, Mr. Julio. Pipa Cochino saying that he obviously did not buy tickets. He says, I'm going to use that $460 in 10 picanhas, $460 to buy an 85-inch TV. Better experience. I don't know if it's a better experience because I don't know if you were at the last playoff game, but that was a pretty damn good experience. But I get your point. It's a lot of money, and you could do a lot of things with that money. So I get it. I was actually talking to somebody last night at a barbecue. We were talking about World Cup tickets, and we were saying basically the same thing. That we'll turn on the grill, we'll turn on the big TV, and he's a Brazilian guy as well, and we'll cook up some, or he's in a Brazilian family. He's Italian, but his wife is Brazilian, and they'll cook up some steaks and all kinds of good stuff, and have a good time for a lot less money. From Scene to Scene says, I logged in at 1 p.m. There was 1,000 people in front of me. My season tickets were gone. Seats were available further behind. I usually sit. I ended up paying $90 in Ticketmaster fees versus $105 for ECF. Yeah, ticket fees suck. Ash asking if I got my tickets. Yes. I'm a little bit behind. So let me just scroll down. Diego says they don't care about loyalty, only money. I've said that for a while. Yeah, I agree with you. I wish, the ownership group will talk so much about La Familia, and to some extent, I think they do believe it to some extent. But at the end of the day, it's a business. They want to make money, and at the bottom dollar is way more important than your happiness. Unfortunately, I mean, it's just sad truth. Let's see. All right. God is saying that. Good thing I watched your vlog. I got to be light on the liquid to avoid those bathroom lines. Yes, sir. We were shocked to see the bathroom lines. Before the game. That's normally at halftime. But before the game started, long lines in the bathroom. That was a bit of a surprise. All right, let's look at ticket prices. Let's look at ticket prices right now. What is currently available? And I will tell you, I've been focusing a lot of my attention on section 115 because that is where my season tickets are. And I'm used to that spot, right? So, I mean, clearly the stadium was open to me. I could have picked anywhere I wanted, but I decided to try to stick in my section because that's, again, where I'm comfortable, right? That's what I know. That's what I like. So let's go in and see. Just look at this. Look at all the blue dots. These blue dots are what is currently available. There are a ton of tickets still currently available. There are a lot of grayed out that are maybe sold. Way too many of that pinkish red color, which are the resales. That's frustrating to me, is how many people log in and buy a ticket and just resell it. Yes, I know a lot of that may be bots, but it's not everybody. There are quite a few season ticket holders, I am sure, that did this, that are just buying tickets to resell. And that's not how I'm wired. I want to go and get the game. Now, talking to Ed, he was joking around saying, hey, look, if the ticket prices jumped up to $10,000, would you sell them? I said, yeah, of course I would. Now, obviously, they're not going to jump that high. But, if they did, hell yeah, I would sell. But they're not gonna. Also, let me show you this. So this is what it looks like right now. And let's just let's look at some of the prices right now. Look at this. That's a resale. I don't want to look at the resale tickets. 400. Okay. Section 115, row 33. This is right around where my season tickets are. I'm actually in row 34. So this is right around. I have seats 9 and 10 on row 34 for my regular season. But what's interesting about this, and this is the dynamic pricing that drives everybody crazy at Ticketmaster, is that This $401 for that price, I saw around 4 p.m. It was over $600. Or was it $550? I think it was $550. So as the night has gone on, the ticket price dropped like $150. You know, that's the thing that's so frustrating about this dynamic pricing, because you jumped in earlier at 1 p.m. maybe, and you saw a price, or maybe you couldn't jump in at 1 p.m. Maybe you jumped in at 4 p.m. and you saw a price in this section for $550. After you've now bought your ticket 5 hours later, it's dropped $150? That is wrong. That is wrong. This is the pre-sale. So if I jumped in at 10 a.m. or if I jumped in at 1 or if I jumped in at 4, the ticket should be the same price. You're just allowing people to get in earlier to get a better pick of the price, right? To bet better seats. You know, you spend more money, we're going to let you go in earlier so you could get the pick of the litter. Okay, great, fine, whatever. I may agree with it or don't agree with it. It's fine. But what price this person sees at 10 a.m. should be the same price I see at 1 p.m. or 4 p.m. because we are all in the pre-sale and we all should matter. Now, again, this is not an Inter Miami thing so much as it is an MLS thing. That's so they say. But it's crazy to see the prices drop. Now, if you go in now, $401, that may be your better price. Sean Callahan saying, this is a Ticketmaster thing, though, not a front office thing. I agree. I know. I mean, I saw the same thing, like I said before, when I was buying tickets to my daughter at Taylor Swift. It's just frustrating. And yeah, I know it's not the team, but the price should be set. This seems criminal, right? The price should be set. If you're going to say that section 115 is X amount of dollars it should be the entire price for the presale. Now, if you want to charge a little bit more, $100, $150 more for the general public, okay, I'm okay with that because you're now rewarding your season ticket holders by giving them a lower price. Again, I know this is a Ticketmaster thing, but it's frustrating and it sucks. But if we go through some photos, this is a photo earlier in the day, a screenshot of early in the day, and you see all of these blue dots all around. There's a lot of blue dots. Seconds later, it looks like this. Blue dots appearing and disappearing quickly. And I find it hard to believe that they're all sold. It feels like to me, this is, again, a Ticketmaster thing of them kind of pulsing the tickets to where they are there and then they're not there, making you feel like, oh no, I better hurry, I better buy now. Creating that panic that we talked about earlier. So that's kind of, it's weird. I mean, I was going in throughout the day and 1 minute I'd see it like this. Another minute I would see it like full again, like a lot of opportunities to buy. Now, as the day went on, the prices continued to rise. They definitely did not go down until more recently. They've gone down. So, and people are talking about the fees. Yeah, it says here when you're looking at these tickets now that they include fees as well. They have to be upfront about it now. 401. Let me click one of these things. 401. It's supposed to have the fees that includes the fees. I'm not going to click next. But it says price includes fees before taxes, if applicable. So the only other fee you would pay here is taxes. I agree, Kata. It is predatory. Sean, showing his age. Remember the times you had to go to Specs or the box office to get tickets? Those are the better days. I don't know. Those are the days where we were camping out in front of the record store camping out on the sidewalk to hopefully get your tickets to your concert. I wasn't really doing that for sporting events in those days, but for concerts. WDW Adventures. Hey, a Disney fan? Welcome. I didn't pay fees. I only paid $497 total for sections 106 row 2. Oh, you paid fees. I'm sorry, buddy. You paid fees. They just were included. Hey, Boss Daddy saying that driving down alone from Orlando, first time getting to see Messi. Hopefully we show out. Yeah, great. That's awesome. Happy for you. Diego is asking, do you think they would sell at the stadium game day? No. Look, they actually have a ticket booth. I've never seen that ticket booth open. It's got a big old Ticketmaster sign on it and everything as a sponsor. I have never seen it open. I'm sure it has to be open at times. I've never seen it open. No, this game will be sold out. When, I don't know, because the good news is if you are not a season ticket holder, judging by this, what we're seeing here, I think you will have a pretty fair chance at getting tickets tomorrow in the general public when it's released at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I think you have a pretty good. Yeah, Sean is agreeing with me. Chase has a box office, never been open. That's what I was talking about. Never seen it open, but they built it. Really, Diego, you say you've bought tickets from there multiple times. Well, I don't know. I've never seen it open. Sean has never seen it open. I don't know when you've seen it open, but you've been lucky. I've never seen it open. But you have to Boss Daddy said, do I buy a ticket now or wait till tomorrow? With this dynamic pricing, it's so hard to tell. So hard to tell. Will they go down again? I don't know. I was really surprised to see that they went down. And then if you go, what was the cheapest tickets I saw in here were around, look, there's some in row 124 here behind the goal for, what was that? $364. $365 here. $341 in the corner, northeast second. That's, I don't know, is that this one? One of these corners. This one or this one over here. I'm not sure which corner it is. But it's it's this corner or this corner. I'm scrolling the wrong way. Not sure which one is this. Let's see. Noble Protocol asking me, so your final seats are closer to the pitch in the same sections, same price. Yes, and same price as my row for this game, not same price as my normal season. So kind of like yes, and yes. So they were the same price. My current row that I sit in row 34, it was the same price as 14 rows closer to the field. Same price. It was not the price I paid for my season tickets, much higher price, but it was the same. Ash is asking, will there be any tickets for like $250 or something? I don't think so. Again, they could go down. Here's the interesting thing is right now, again, looking at this, there are quite a few seats. Earlier in the day, all I was seeing was just random single tickets. So you might find a situation where a random single ticket could go at a nice price because they just want to offload it. But I wouldn't count on it, right? It depends on how much you want to be at this game, right? If it doesn't matter, if it matters to you, but it's not like you'll be fine if you miss it type of thing. Play it by ear. And they always say, like with concerts, for example, sometimes buying the tickets the day of, last minute, 2 hours before the match starts or the concert starts is the best time. Because people want to offload whatever they couldn't sell. And that's always a possibility, but it really is how badly do you want to go? This is exactly what Diego is saying, the exact same thing. There's a little bit of a delay when I'm talking here. Prices drop game day when it's really close to kickoff. Exactly. But you have to be okay with missing the game. You have to have the ability to get to the stadium fairly quickly. So it's a gamble. It may pay off for you. I can't remember, but there was one of our viewers at one point, I think it was a Leagues Cup match, that got a ticket at a dirt cheap price by doing that. So do you want to gamble, or are you the type that says, I have to be at this game? If you have to be there, that's how I felt. I paid the price. Could they go down? Sure. I don't know. I don't think so, though. Ash is saying, I'm planning to fly in from Boston for the game. Buy your tickets now, dude. You don't want to fly in from Boston and gamble. No, you need your tickets. Buy them. Oh, getting timed out. All right, while I'm getting timed out, let's take a look at what it's looking like at some of these other sites. Let me refresh StubHub. I'm here again, focusing on section 115, $654. Is their amazing deal? Looks like there's one for $537 here. Section, they haven't gone down that much in StubHub. I also look at sometimes this site, Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats has gone down a little bit. Section 115 is now around $492. Let me refresh and just see if that's up to date. Yep, still 115 is $492. Oh, Game Time. I was at Game Time as well. Let's back out a little bit. Let's refresh. Game Time here. Where are we? Section 115. It looks like the cheapest seats, row 34, $491. It looks like, who was the cheapest? Game Time was the cheapest for that section. So there you go. These are the resale markets. Also, you can see resale here. And if I zoom in a little bit, let's go to section 115 and look at some of these resales. If I can click on it. Row 20, 2 seats, $802. So on Ticketmaster, the resale, people are still very hopeful. They're very hopeful that they're going to go for a lot of money as of right now. Noble Protocol is saying that, let me tell you, I have paid $350 for a regular season match, sitting 10 rows up, section 102. These dollars are not bad. Okay. Let's all right. Let's play that. Let's look at 102. Let me zoom out. Let me go back to the home. It's easier to find it. 102 is a nicer section. 102 is going to be a lot more expensive. 102 has some seats available in a decent row here. You're paying $722 right now. So a little over double of what you paid in the past, Noble Protocol. These are really good seats. You're going to get food included, I think. So, oops, why'd that happen? No, I probably shouldn't show that, right? People get mad when you show that stuff. Oh, my browsing activity has been paused. I've been detected for unusual behavior. Interesting. Just because I've been lurking all day. Change your Wi-Fi cellular switch devices. Interesting. I've been flagged. All right. Well, so for the rest of tonight, I can't at least look at pricing anymore. I bought my tickets way earlier, but I have been lurking and just studying a little bit of how the prices have been moving. But anyways, that section 102 was double the price. So it was expensive. Okami says, I think it will lower as game gets closer. Again, that's up to you. It's a gamble. It really just depends how badly you want to be in the game. Do you want to take that risk? And a lot of people are like, screw that. Hell yeah, I'm taking that risk because I'm going to get a bargain and I'm going to go see the game and all that. But those of us that don't want to take a risk, and I have to be there, right? That's how I feel. Look, for me, it felt so unreal after the Eastern Conference final game Saturday. It felt so unreal that, man, this is really happening. I've been on cloud nine since then. It's been exciting because, again, being a longtime South Florida soccer fan, it just seemed like pinch me, it's not real type of situation. They are coming for you. Yeah, I saw someone else comment somewhere on Twitter or something like that that this happened to them as well. Yeah, you're right. I got to use Google in private mode now. Yep. Sergio says Ticketmaster always does this, and it's annoying. Yeah, I guess they don't want you. Maybe you look suspicious just because But look, what's not suspicious? Apparently, all the bots, because there is no way in hell. Like, I have a screenshot of a friend of mine who was in the queue. Let me see if I can find it. I sent it to the guys. Here, let me see if I can share this. And then hang on a second. Let me change this to WhatsApp. And we'll move it. Look at this. This was earlier in the day. You are now in queue. 44,490 people in front of you. This was today. How in the world is there over 44,000 people in the queue? Bots. I mean, that's the only thing it can be, right? Bots. It's ridiculous. Boss Daddy is saying, where are my seats? My seats are section 115, row 21. Section 115, row 21. Come find me. I'll be there. Diego saying, from Higuain, Phil Neville days to MLS final, we have all come far. Yes, we have. Seek says Ticketmaster needs to go away. So going back to a little bit of this, I actually want to touch on this. And this goes to some of what little bit of credit going to the Battered Herons. They did a little bit of research. I found this on a Reddit thread. There's a Reddit thread that's pretty fun. Everybody in there complaining or sharing their experiences with this. But one of the things that was in there is, with MLS said they have no power over Inter Miami says they have no power over this because this is an MLS thing that, can't guarantee your tickets, your season tickets, because it's an MLS thing, right? But then Vancouver sent out this message to their season ticket holders when they were hopeful that they would be the host. And it says, look for an email on Saturday, November 29th, post our San Diego match with details on how to access your exclusive presale on November 30th. As a reminder, you have opted in to your season seats for the MLS Cup. If we clinch a spot in the MLS Cup and host New York City at BC Place, your tickets would be loaded into your Whitecaps FC account manager in the coming days. They basically were saying, you opted, the way I understand this, you opted into the playoffs, you therefore have opted into MLS Cup. Or maybe it was a separate opt-in, but you had the ability to opt in to procure your seats. So in other words, I bought a bunch of I bought 4 tickets for me and my friends. I wouldn't have had to do that. I would have my tickets would have already been loaded and I would have been billed and charged, I guess the cheapest rate possible, right? Similar to what happened with the last playoff game. That did not happen. Inter Miami's email says this is an MLS controlled thing. They have no power over this. Why is Vancouver sending out a different message? Why? I don't get that. Why is Vancouver sending out a different message? Kata says Miami lied again. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's just you get two different messages. It is weird. And then LA, and this is where Battered Herons was going out on Twitter asking around from some of their friends and people they know. Edgar, I've been on his show one time. He's an LA Galaxy fan. He's saying that say what you will about LA Galaxy, but they've always given the season ticket holders the option to keep our seats throughout the playoffs and MLS Cup. So this was for last year's MLS Cup. Inter Miami show more respect to your real fans. So as of last year in LA, and you would think LA wants to gouge people. LA's kind of a market like Miami and New York and all that kind of stuff. They were giving the option to opt in or to procure your season tickets. That didn't happen. That didn't happen for us. So, anyways, pretty frustrating. But at the end of the day, I know somebody mentioned that Battered Herons are pretty upset. I'll find out in about 8 minutes when I'm over on their show. So come join me on the Battered Herons in a few minutes. I'm not that mad about the situation because I was able to get my tickets. I mean, it sounds like selfish or whatever, but at the end of the day, I got my tickets. I'm excited. I'm happy. I want to go. I paid the price, right? Now, I would not have, if they were $1,000 tickets, I'd have to look at, so I can't do that. But luckily they're not. So I was frustrated in the situation, but I also kind of had an idea of what to expect being through this with purchasing other tickets for other events. I kind of had an idea of what to expect. So I wasn't shocked the way it kind of happened, but my heart was beaten. I was excited. My wife was trying to talk to me. I'm like, not right now. I'm wired trying to make this purchase happen. All the different tricks I might have. Instead of typing in the password, I copied and pasted it already. I had the copy already loaded. So all I had to do is paste. I was trying any trick to get in fast. And then I didn't look around. I didn't look at section 102 and 103 and 114 and 116. I went directly to where I wanted tickets and I bought right away. No questions asked. So it worked out for me. So I'm not mad. I just wish it was better. But look, we can all wish for a lot of things. I wish to be a millionaire. It's not happening. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. I don't know what they, if it can go, if the toothpaste can go back in the tube. I'm not so sure that's possible. So it was stressful, but it was kind of a fun day at the same time. Yes, it hurt my pocketbook, but it was kind of a fun day. And I am so excited about MLS Cup now. So I cannot wait. I cannot believe it's going to be happening. And you better believe it. We will have a game day vlog for that game. And I'm going to try to shoot it in 4K. I've never done it in 4K, but I'm going to try to shoot it in 4K, see if we can get a little bit better. So look out for that. It's going to be great. I'm curious to see what kind of events are around MLS Cup. Are there anything that we can go to? Are we invited to? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the game day festivities are like for the MLS Cup versus what they're like for a regular season game. I don't know. Never been. So it should be super exciting. But at this point, I think there's some questions in the chat. Sports Shorts saying at least it isn't Super Bowl prices, but still extortion. It was my Super Bowl. That's how I look at it. MLS Cup was my Super Bowl. All right, so it had that value to me. All right, everybody. Hopefully you got tickets, and if you didn't get tickets, hopefully you can get tickets tomorrow. And tweet us your experiences and how it's going for you. if you decided to wait or if you're going to just jump in and go for it. So thanks everybody for watching. As always, please like, share, and subscribe, and click that join button. Help us become a member. We're going to start putting together some behind the scenes type members only videos. So become a member. And right now, if you're familiar with Battered Herons, go click over to the Battered Herons, and I'm going to go over there too. So I'll see you over on the Battered Heron Show. Thanks everybody for watching. See ya.